Hi guys, this is Wenzes from Below the Radar Above the System, and today I want to talk to you about the urge to want to prove ourselves to others. And it is actually a human thought, a human desire, and I don't think that it has to be so pointed out as something bad, because I was at a point where I thought I didn't want to prove myself, as in I didn't want people to think I'm overly successful, overly strong, but subconsciously I was actually trying to prove that I'm good, that I'm thinking about other people, that I'm love worthy pretty much, or that I'm a good soul and a good person. And I was doing that by not showing what I was accomplishing, although doing that, like really going out there and showing who I am and what I'm proud of having accomplished and so on, really means something to me. It makes me feel good. And I was really neglecting that in order to do that other thing, to really put out there that I'm a good soul, that I'm humble, and so on. So the thing is, why I was doing that is because I thought I was successful. I thought I was a strong person. I thought I could really achieve a lot of things and handle difficult situations. But what I wasn't thinking, or what I was really not feeling inside, was that I was, really good and a good soul and just a nice girl you wanna love. So what I did was I got into situations where people were extra mean because they had some kind of problem, and I, as an INFJ, saw through that, so why they were doing that, and then I started being extra nice. I started being extra nice, although that person was acting like an ass, because I understood that they have reasons for that. I tried to understand everything from their perspective, and I did that over and over again until a point where I just really broke out and just got really mean and got really mean and needed to really put a stop to that. I had this typical door slam situation and so on. But this is just a specific case of me. You see it with a lot of people. They have, let's say you see this guy who always wants to be the bad guy, who wants to be not considered, but viewed as strong, capable, as successful. And you see those people, they act like this. They always have to be in control. They always have to prove that they're better. And when you don't react to that, let's say we had exactly that situation. So that person acts like I'm dominant. And what I did was I didn't react to that. I didn't say, go away, I don't want to talk to you, you're mean, and so on, because I was, I wanted to prove that I'm nice. So he kept on going. And that's a problem in him as much as it was in me, because he was trying to prove that he's strong. But how can you prove that you're strong when somebody's being nice to you and you just keep on pushing? It happens so automatically and we don't realize it, but actually all those things we do to prove that we're something just means the exact opposite, or gets the exact opposite response. So while I was trying for somebody to give me the feeling of being nice and being love worthy and being willing, or being not willing, but having the right to be accepted as another human being with thoughts and feelings which should be considered by other people, by trying to prove that, I got beat on even more. And you could ask yourself, was it his problem? Was it my problem? I don't think any one of us was happy in that situation. But what I realized is that, yes, I was not loving myself. I was not thinking that I'm love worthy the way I am, and I needed external validation to compensate that, because something in my mind had me going, oh, okay, I need that other person to feel that way. But you see, people or specifically for me, it was like, if you see other women who think of themselves as love-worthy and nice and so on, they do not prove that. What they do is, if somebody's mean to them, they don't ask themselves, oh, what's going on? Why is he feeling this way? Why is he treating me this way? They say, go away. I'm not putting up with this. I'm not going to let any day pass where I allow anybody to feel, to treat me bad. I love myself that much that I just go away from that situation, or I fight back. Okay, those are those two things. And I have, since I've had a lot of friends and my grandma and so on, people who are ESTPs, and ESTPs generally feel very strong. They feel very strong, and especially if they're men, it has rarely happened that I met an ESTP who felt that they're not strong in a physical kind of way or in a dominating kind of way. So when you talk to an ESTP and you have a positive relationship, as in you're being nice to them, they're normally nice to you, and unless it's something like really wrong with them in a different way. But they don't have this urge to prove to somebody that they're strong and dominant. They're rather afraid if they do it too much, people will, go away. So if you see somebody who's acting this way, it's because they don't believe in them. They don't believe that they're actually that strong or that dominating. So what happened with me was, what I had to do, and I only did it because I was pushed to that point. I was pushed to that point where I just started fighting back. Okay, and at that moment, I felt completely alone, because I thought, if I really show my true colors, as in I also show my negative emotions, which are anger, resentment, they're selfish thoughts, as in I matter too, which I wasn't even allowing myself. I thought, once I do that, it's over. That person's just gonna hate me for destroying them. They're gonna think I'm bad and evil and not worthy of either their time or whatever. So I was really pushed to that. But I had to do it, because otherwise I would have just completely vanished. I was really at a low point, and looking back at it now, it was the best thing that could have happened to me, because right now I do not feel like I have to prove to people that I'm extra smart, which I used to do. I don't have to prove to people that I'm extra nice, which I used to do. And I see how people respect me so much more, because every person has some kind of issue going on with them, something that they're hurting. And once you're really reacting to others because of their issues, they're gonna fight back because they need to protect themselves. But if you really put out who you really are, then you start feeling better. Maybe not at that point, but definitely in the long run, or a little while later. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have something that you want to prove to somebody, really ask yourself, what do you want to prove? What do you want other people to view you as? Because sometimes we have this thing, I'm looking for a soulmate, I'm looking for somebody to fulfill me. And I do not think that this is actually a good concept. I think this is what we have in our head, because we think we need somebody else to give us what we're lacking, instead of really embracing that part of us that we kind of keep away, because that we don't want to embrace because we think it makes us bad somehow. Really embrace that, and then people will automatically see you differently. You will see yourself differently. Other people will approach you, and everything changes. So once you really realize, okay, I've been going to this pattern. I really want that person to think that I'm extra smart, or I want that person or those people, I want them to think that I'm able to achieve greatness, or I want these people to, see that I'm good. Realize that this is just a trigger. There's something going on which you're not giving yourself, and do the exact opposite. So for example, if I'm out with one of my friends and we get into a situation, we talk to people, and it gets a little bit more intellectual or whatever kind of, or political, or something that has to do something with just like being smart and so on. I see my friend who's not who's not stupid at all, but I know that she kind of has this she has this thing inside of her that she feels because of, let's say, how teachers treated her or how like something happened, that she kind of feels that she's not that smart. And you see how she always tries to sound smart, or tries to kind of compensate for that. And I don't think people see it that often, but I see it because I know how she is. And I've talked to her about it and it's gotten better, but yeah, this is a natural impulse. Me, on the other hand, I think I'm smart in a lot of ways, so I don't have a problem with appearing stupid. I appear stupid so often. I get underestimated so often. As I said, I try to prove that I'm smart, but I try to prove it as in, oh yeah, I think very deeply and so on. But now it's like, I don't care. Like I do really stupid stuff. I have my guilty pleasures, and I'm fine with that because it gives me some kind of relief. And I don't have a problem with people thinking sometimes that I'm like the stupid, naive girl, because I know I'm not. And people who actually have this subconscious feeling of, oh, I'm not smart, or I want people to think I'm smart, it's because they don't think it themselves. So what I'm trying to tell you is, this saying, it was like, people think that inspiration is the reason for action, but actually it's the other way around. Reason is the action is the reason for inspiration. So by doing something, you get inspired instead of just waiting around waiting for someone to inspire you, so you act. And with this situation, I advise you to do the exact same thing. So if you feel like somebody is, so let's say how I was last year, and I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't think I was love worthy and so on. And people told me, but you are love worthy. Everything is good. You've done so many good things. The only person I believe was that one person who was treating me bad. Because deep down I felt I didn't, I wasn't worth, or, I wasn't worth more, or this is how I'm supposed to be treated because I don't know. There was like something that had, things to do with my childhood and so on, but there's this thing I had. And it didn't help when people told me, be good, you're good, and you're a good soul. I thought they just don't know me. So the only thing I realized looking back at it, what helped was doing the exact opposite. Acting badly, acting in things that make me feel good at that moment, as in making the other person feel bad. That's made me feel bad. If somebody shames you, it is unhealthy not to shame back. If somebody is angry with you and you feel like you haven't done anything bad, it's unhealthy to keep those emotions in you and not put them out there. So what I learned was that I had to embrace that part of me. I had to embrace all of that I was trying so hard to keep away because I thought it would destroy the other person and they would hate me so much for it. That is exactly what I had to do. Because through that, I realized, okay, I did all that. I got into a new mindset and I got used to that. Because the first moment is rather painful. You get into a point of nobody's gonna like me. Nobody's gonna like me if I do this, if I really bring out that part of me. And people see actually how strong I am and what kind of capabilities I have, then people are not gonna like me. Because you know how it is. People are jealous. People do things that just kind of like, a lot of people don't like you being stronger than them, especially if they're, if you have this men-female dynamic, then they are weak men, or men who are not really aware of who they are, that kind of want to stay away from that. But I had to realize that this is what I had to do. I had to do exactly what I was most afraid of, because I knew if I show that to the world, nobody's gonna like me. So this is what I'm advising everybody. Do that as long as it's in a healthy manner. I'm not asking you, if you want to kill somebody, go ahead and kill that person. But I'm just saying, put it out there get used to that pain in the beginning, because it is going to be painful. Because what you really going to feel at that moment is, okay, this is it. Nobody's going to like me now. Nobody's going to like me. And I have to do this. I'm going to do this, and this is it. But after a while, you realize, okay, it's okay. Because first off, you don't have that urge anymore for somebody to come and save you, your soulmate, because you already did that for yourself. Second of all, a lot of different people benefit from the way you are. You realize that, okay, I'm just doing what's good for me. How can I be bad just because I do something that's good for me? And you start realizing, okay, this is how I'm supposed to feel. I'm supposed to do things that feel nice to me, and I'm perfect the way I am. I don't have to be like other people. I just have to be like myself. And once you get really settled with that thought and thinking, okay, this is the only thing I need to do in order to be content, and I'm good with that, then everything changes. Your whole world perception changes. And it's a huge step. It can be painful and difficult in the beginning, but I advise you to so really bring that out. Bring out what scares you the most, what you think people are gonna hate the most. May it be, as I said, with me I was scared to be considered strong. Because I thought, nobody's gonna see me like, oh, that pretty little thing that I need to save. And I thought that's what everybody wanted, for what reason or another. May it be, as I said, childhood things and so on. And that the guy that I was talking about, that always had the impression he had to prove himself of being very strong, he actually is a very sensitive person. He's actually very much about, animals, and he's a lot about politics and doing things for the greater good. But it's like he thought, if I just like calm down and I'm not that aggressive guy, then who's gonna like me? Who's gonna like me? So it all turned out well, because now I see him like being, kind of getting into that groove of realizing, okay, this is how I am and it's okay. But somebody had to push him there, and I had to push myself also into that direction. So please, if you have something that you feel like you have to prove to others so you believe it yourself, do the exact opposite. Bring out exactly those things that you think the other person's gonna dislike you for, but which are actually part of you, and the whole dynamic and everything changes. Okay, this is it. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.